But I mean, all the stuff that's on here is what I was going to bring up.
So our mics are hot too, right? Perfect. All right, cool. We are live, Freak Nation. How's it going? Happy Sunday night.
Yay!
In the Freak Nation. Getting set to go live on YouTube only tonight. We are live on SpeedFreaks YouTube. We are live on Hello!
Daddy, I'm sorry, but...
Not yet, Cody. Not yet. Tricky finger. So we're not going live until top of the 8 o'clock hour. So you pulled the trigger a little bit too early there, Fancy Pants. Hold your roll. That's Cody Big Johnson. He's the voice of God tonight, everybody. You're going to hear from Cody in a little bit. But set the table before we actually go live. Kenny and Crash are on vacation. So they let Cole Money Cusimano, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, Richie Suave Flores host the show tonight on SpeedFreaks YouTube, SpeedFreaks Facebook, and Worldwide Technology YouTube. So if you're wherever you're watching us, thanks for hanging out with us here tonight, Sunday night. Cole, about 45 seconds before we actually go hit the ground running. How you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm so pumped up. I'm ready to talk about this Michigan race because it was, in my opinion, best race of the year, hands down.
I love
more
that.
to come. More to come.
I love that. I love
the tease, right?
Hang on a second. I got to retitle the damn name of the thing. Hang on a second. Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah. Why in this update? Hang on a second. We got 30 seconds. All right. Yeah.
25.
Yeah. Cody, still play the thing while I update the YouTube title because I got to update the YouTube title. So when we get to 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, go ahead and play the open. Cole, keep yapping while I try to figure this out.
Yapping. I'm not yapping about your girlfriend, Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh,
I'll tell you right now.
Song of the summer, baby.
I didn't hear. No, I can't do it. No. I won't even entertain it.
Daddy, I'm sorry, but I beat your favorite driver, folks.
And at the same time, just wheeling it. You just gotta put your nuts on the dash and send it. You know what I mean?
And try again.
Live on the Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios. Driven by General Tire.
Rock on, baby!
I am serious. Here's the Freaks.
Freak Nation, let's kick it off for real this time. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Speed Freaks from the Lucas Oil Studios, live in the beautiful confines of Phoenix, Arizona, where it's triple digits once again today. Oh, yeah. Lots to talk about today, Cole. Here's what's coming up tonight here in the Freak Nation. We're going to dive a lot into, obviously, Michigan NASCAR Cup Series. Denny Hamlin, your winner. He beat your favorite driver on Sunday once again for his third race win of the season. I titled the YouTube stream today, Denny Hamlin wins Race of the Year in Michigan. So Cole and I are going to discuss whether that race at Michigan was indeed the best race of the season. We'll dive into that. Coming up in the show, we're going to hear from Scott McLaughlin. He is, of course, the driver of the number 3 for Team Penske in the IndyCar Series. If you missed that interview on Wednesday or haven't checked it out on our YouTube page, we're going to play it again here for you tonight ahead of next Sunday, June 15th, a week from today. Worldwide Technology Raceway, prime time Sunday night on Big Daddy Fox, the Bommarito Auto Group 500. We're going to hear from Scott McLaughlin to preview that race. Cole's going to be in attendance, so it's Crash. So he's going to join us coming up a little bit later in the show. We're going to debut a brand new segment as well, Cole, which Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, came up with. I want to start maybe trying to do this, every week if we can, which is our NASCAR tier list. So we're going to do that coming up at 8 o'clock. And I think, Cole, I've already pissed you off because of this.
I mean,
don't be a tease killer like Crash.
Yeah, there's some questionable decisions in your roster there, or your tiering, I should say. But I had fun with that. I think it'd be good to do a weekly thing.
I think so too. I want to get Kenny and Crash involved in this too because this is NASCAR tier list. Nick Wright does this every week on his show with the NFL teams and quarterbacks. And he has his quarterback tiers and team tiers. So we'll do that with NASCAR drivers. So that's coming up a little bit later in the show. Daniel Suarez. Kenny and Crash caught up with him at Phoenix Raceway back in March. asking him about going to Mexico City for the first time. So we're going to hear from Daniel Suarez coming up a little bit later in the show. And a freaking flashback / throwback to 2005 with Carl Edwards, who's a member of the NASCAR Prime video coverage. So we're going to hear from Carl Edwards from 20 years ago, not too long after he won his first race, believe it or not, in the Cup Series, which was 2005. So we're going to hear from Carl coming up in the show, but lots to get to this show. But let's kick it off, Cole, with what we saw on Sunday with that amazing race at Michigan. Cole, you said it before we kind of kicked off the show for real. It's in my title, the race of the year. Please explain to the Freak Nation why that race at Michigan was the race of the year.
To go back to last week with what Kenny and Crash were saying, this race actually mattered. Like, it exemplified everything that is good about racing in NASCAR. You had tire conservation, you had fuel mileage, you had runs for the lead. Just great racing overall. It was a very pure, incredible race to watch. And, I mean, just going back to the varying factors that at play in this race, and in regards to tire conservation, Carson Hocevar leading this race late with 20 to go, lost a tire. Then, of course, you had William Byron, who dominated this race for all intents and purposes, led 98 laps, won a stage. He ran out of fuel with 5 to go, and then sure enough, here comes old man Denny Hamlin putting a whooping down on the youngsters of the sport, two of the most exciting talents, I would say, right now in NASCAR. It was just an incredible race, start to finish. And what's really cool is that, people complain a lot about the lack of passing and all these different things with the next-gen car. Well, statistically, this race at Michigan had the second least amount of green flag passes in the next-gen era through 4 starts. In addition to the least amount of lead changes, which was 15, going back to 2022 with this current car. So you had a lack of passing compared to years past, but nonetheless, it was an incredible show. I think that's a testament to NASCAR and Prime as well.
Yeah. The
storytelling aspect was amazing. I don't want to get too deep into that because I'm sure you want to elaborate more on that as well, but just an incredible job all around, and it's a testament to the Prime broadcast.
Yeah, I think they elevated this race for sure, and this is something we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is like Prime is good enough where they can take a pretty average race and they can elevate it to make it seem better. And I will tell you, this was a fuel conservation race during the final stint in the race, and the way that Prime handled it made it seem way more important and way more exciting than it should have been. And so I was locked in. I saw a tweet from one of the Freak Nation, and it was like, I didn't look at my phone for the last 40 laps of this race. That's how locked in they were. And that's what I felt too, which is like, because we didn't know who had fuel and who didn't. And that was like such classic NASCAR to me.
Yes.
That is like, let me put it this way. There were still people complaining, because I put this out at SpeedFreaks on Twitter, and you can still go, reply if you haven't already. And I asked, is this fuel save race, this fuel conservation, is this fun to watch? And you and I both agreed that yes, that fuel save at the end was dramatic as heck. And that's why, like you and I, that's why we watch sports, man. We watch for drama. And like we didn't know who had enough fuel and who didn't. And that drama of like who's going to make it and who wasn't was just so good. Even though none of these guys were passing, like all 4 guys, it was just fun to watch them drive these race cars and see how they were trying to save fuel. And I love that aspect of this race. And I agree with you 100%, Cole. I think to me this was my favorite race of 2025, beating out Coda, which was my other favorite race of the year, and that great finish with Christopher Bell beating out Kyle Busch, among other things. And so all around, I thought this was terrific. The fuel save was awesome. This is a race that if it happened 10 or 15 years ago, people would have been like on their feet applauding. But in this new Gen 7 car, people are like, oh, fuel save? Oh, this was crap. Like, it's not a big amount, but like it's still going to be, 20, like 30 or 40% of people, right?
Yeah. And no, I think the big thing for me is you go back to your question, was it an entertaining race with the fuel mileage? And, when I first started watching the sport and there were all these fuel mileage finishes and Jimmy Johnson was winning every week, I would say absolutely not, because I think there was not a very good narrative and they didn't elaborate a whole lot on the fuel saving aspect of things. I think that they did a great job going into like how many laps they had left on fuel, They had that burn bar, which I thought was really cool. How much fuel the drivers were saving each lap, and that really brought it all together. In addition to like them not narrating the race itself, it was like they would go into the in-car scanners, and you'd have all three teams. It was at the time Hocevar, Hamlin, and Larson teams, and Byron. Byron as well, going back and forth, sharing their strategies and kind of how they were aiming to finish this race and get that win.
Yeah, you shared on your Twitter about how this race, in terms of the passes overall, there wasn't as many passes that there has been in Michigan in the past. But like, you go to like green flag passes for the lead. I feel like there were a decent amount of those, especially like in that first stint. There were a couple of them on the longer runs. There were a couple near the end of this race. Granted, a couple of them because people ran out of fuel, et cetera, et cetera. But like, we saw a few great passes for the lead in this race too, which made things more exciting. And yeah, so I don't know, like, I'm curious to see where Gluck's pole lands here. But like, I think last week it was about 65% yes, good race.
Yes.
Ish.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of fair looking back, you know.
Especially like compared to what we saw today.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm curious where it's going to land today. It's not going to be Coke 695% yes.
It should be. In my opinion.
I agree. Yes. Best race of the year for me. One of the things in our list of things to talk about from this race too is poor Carson Hocevar, man. He led. Let me look this up here. He led twice for 32 laps, which was the second most in the race, right? And my goodness, the three of us, myself, Cole Money Cusimano, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, all of us were like, please, Carson, please. We all were rooting for him to win this race because of how great a storyline that would have been. Because going into the race, he was like the biggest story that Prime was talking about, and his rivalry, but with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And I tweeted out a picture at SpeedFreaks Cole of Ricky and Carson talking to each other like before the race behind the scenes. And I thought that was great, but like that sucked, man. Like when Carson Hocevar blew that tire, weren't you just like, hell, this sucks, man?
Yeah.
We had a couple of Hocevar shout outs in the chat here from Blake, and yeah, that was such a bummer, dude. But he's gonna win a race this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's performing well above his equipment, and it's just a testament to his talent level and the speed that is in Spire at some capacity. But like, it's just so dejecting because the last 4 weeks you could go back to, he had race-winning speed, top 3, top 5 speed. He was running top 3 at Charlotte in the late stages of the race, and then his engine expired. Obviously finished runner-up at Nashville, and then you have this week where he's leading with 20 to go and blows a tire. So I think the big thing here is that early in the season, they had the speed. You could visually tell from the eye test, but they weren't putting the results together. And now you're seeing those results get strung together, and it's really just looking more encouraging, like he's going to get that first win this season.
Yeah, it's a rookie driver in a team that has, struggled in the past. They've been a back marker team, Spire.
Yeah.
And that organization in their previous iteration have been back marker team and have really been irrelevant for the most part. And ever since this new group has kind of come in the same group behind the Cadillac F1 team in a way, right? The former kind of Andretti group now, headed up by Dan Towers at TWG. Like they've really started to find a little bit of a groove here. And I think Carson is finding he is starting to learn how to be a NASCAR Cup Series driver. One of the things, Cole, I don't know if you listened to, we didn't get around to talking about it on Wednesday as much as maybe we should have, but I don't know if you listened to Dale Jr.'s podcast this week or not, but I thought it was interesting hearing his take on it. And he's the one who brought this up. This was Dale Earnhardt Jr. of all people. And he brought up that Carson now reminds him of Dale Earnhardt Sr. in 1979, 1980.
Yep.
And I thought that was just like such a fascinating comment because it's so hard to put anybody in the same stratosphere as a Dale Earnhardt Sr., right? But Dale Earnhardt, that came out of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s mouth this past week. I don't know because you just watched the Earnhardt documentary, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say actually, so I did catch that from Dale Jr. last week. And like starting the Earnhardt documentary, like I definitely got that same feeling. Like it's very evident, and it's so exciting for the sport. And it also like it reminds me on a more similar scale because obviously Dale Earnhardt's such a huge, massive figure in the sport. It reminds me a lot of his buddy Ross Chastain's arc in the Cup Series. He was this younger hot shot. looking to make his way and the most of this new opportunity. And yeah, he ruffled some feathers along the way, but he had clear speed. And then once he figured out how to put these races together, he became a fixture in the sport, and now he's relevant and he's winning races and contending for wins. So very similar to a Dale Earnhardt, but even more so like a Ross Chastain.
Yeah. And another thing, he was competing. He almost won the damn Truck Series race too.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
Stuart Friesen.
Stuart Friesen, thank you.
I thought LaJoy was going to win that race at one point.
Yes.
That was a wild race, man. That was the Truck Series at its best.
Talk about like another race that was actually really damn good until like the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
At the end of that race, and they just could not finish that damn race, dude. There were so many damn cautions. It took like an hour to finish the last 20 laps.
Yeah.
That was a pretty damn good race too. And Stuart Friesen, who several races ago was like in his post race was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this anymore. He was so distraught because he lost that race, and I can't remember what race that was off the top of my head. But to see him back in victory lane is awesome. Again, he hasn't won in what, since 2022, so 3 years was awesome.
He also won a truck race or a dirt race earlier this week.
Oh
didn't he?
damn!
I'm pretty sure.
Hell yeah, good for him.
Can you attest to that? No, I'm like 95% sure. I saw something on Twitter. I was obviously really busy with work and stuff, but I'm pretty sure he won a dirt race as well.
Yeah, Blake brought up in our YouTube chat, I think referring to the comparisons between Carson Hocevar and Dale Earnhardt Sr. Blake says, except when Carson was crying next to his truck a few years ago, not that part. Which I don't remember that part, but.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's a very emotional guy. He wears his heart on his sleeve, which I think the fans appreciate. I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, let's get into a couple other things that happened here in this race. We got to talk about it, Cole. We have to talk about how William Byron, who is the Daytona 500 champion, where is he?
He's right there, right on top of Bluey.
This is great. You know what the great part about not being on radio is we can do this because we can have dead air because we're on video only. Usually it's
this is important though.
Yeah. Okay. So this is here we go. That is William Boring Byron, ladies and gentlemen. He's a fixture of the Freak Nation here, right behind me, and usually Kenny. And we got to talk about how he, despite leading the most laps, literally on every week, it seems like, led 98 laps today, nearly led half the damn race, had the best car all day. He continues to choke away wins, Cole. Why does William Byron, who is a really good driver, okay? All of us in this room, Cole Money Cusimano, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, and me, all of us can attest that William Byron is a really good driver, but he cannot finish races to save his ass. Why? Is he a choker now? Does he earn that label?
He's developing quite the reputation for that. I mean, you look at those 3 races specifically, dominated Darlington, dominated the Coke 600. Even today, like you think back that it wasn't as big of a performance as those 2 I just mentioned before that, but he led the most laps still. He was top 2 in both stages, and he definitely choked this one away in my opinion. But that also falls on his fuel saving abilities, maybe the calculations by the team. I'm just kind of making excuses at this point, but at some point. You're not a rookie anymore. You're not a youngster in this sport. You're a veteran, in my opinion. And you got to put these races together, close them out, because it's very hard to win in this sport. And right now, you could be talking about a driver that literally has 4 wins in the bank, the most in the series. Instead, he only has 1 that came in the first race of the season. So I think before I call him a master choke artist, I need to see him get those 3 wins back. Is he going to walk away this season and make the championship 4 and have 5-6 wins in the bank? If that's the case, whatever. It's all about how you answer these adversities and these failures. So I'm not ready to call him a choke artist yet, but talk to me in November.
This is like the perfect example of what separates champions from non-champions. Okay, and I want to get into in just a little bit once we get into more of the Denny Hamlin audio bites. I want to get into him, and if you see him as a true. It's the same conversation we have every year. Is Denny Hamlin a true championship contender or not? And so we're going to get into that in just a little bit once we hear from Denny Hamlin. Just a moment here. SpeedFreaks, of course. I want to reset for the people here in the Lucas Oil Studios. In case you're just hanging out and joining us, thank you for... we're on YouTube only tonight, just the internet. So please, you are more than welcome to enter our chat, continue the conversation. I don't know about you, Cole, but I love the people in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
I love going back and forth with them all the time. So keep those comments coming. We'll do our best to get to them all here across the next hour and a half of the show here this evening. Ricky Suave Flores, Cole Money Cusimano, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, is run the show this evening. So like going back to William Byron, like it's such a massive difference between what he does and what Joey Logano does. And I'm going to just a little tease. Stick around for our tier list coming up at about 8 o'clock tonight in the second hour. You're going to be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. But Joey Logano, like, we bring this up all the time. Like, to me, he's the closer. Kevin Harvick used to be this way. Kevin Harvick used to be this way.
On a lesser scale, though, in regards to Logano, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, because Logano, he does it when it comes to championships. Kevin Harvick did it when he just won a lot of races that way, where he just knew how to win when it mattered at the end of races. And Joey Logano does that. Like, he just, when races matter, like he did that a few weeks ago. Like, when he had a chance to win, he went out and won the damn race. Like, his season hasn't been all that great. He's still in the top 10 in overall points. But once that clock turns over to the playoffs, he's the closer. And he goes out and he wins races. And he's a champion for a reason. And William Byron doesn't have that in him to me.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, you look at his stats all season. He's leading basically every single category outside of the wins. I mean, he has the best average finish. He has the most top 10s, most top 5s. Like, he's just been performing incredibly well. And I have my stats here, actually. I'm going to go back to these real quick. So, yeah, best average finish. Only 3 finishes lower than 12th this season. Second most laps led, second most top 5s. So, like, in my opinion, William Byron has been the most consistently successful driver all season. He's had top 5 speed every single week, if not race contending speed outside of maybe 3 races. So,
he's been the most consistent driver. But the problem is, Cole, that doesn't matter in this playoff format. It does not. Like, it does get you that extra. If you win the regular season championship, I think you get 15 extra points or something, and that really helped Tyler Reddick
for sure
make his way into the championship 4. But he's got to win, dude. He's got to.
No, definitely.
If he wants to win the championship, he's got to win, and he just, for whatever reason, isn't doing that right now. And you listen to him, you go watch him after the race, right? He finished 28th because he ran out of fuel in his interview on Prime, and you can just look at him, and he looked like a defeated driver today.
Yeah, he did. Definitely.
And that's
rightfully so.
He doesn't have that killer instinct that Joey Logano does, right?
Yeah, we're even like a Ryan Blaney. That's why we've seen them go back to back at Phoenix in the championship. So no, I definitely agree. Like, you got to find that different gear, that clutch gene essentially. Yeah. And it all has to come together too. Like the crew chief has to work well. The team pit road has to work well. So it's a team effort. But yeah, I totally get the closing aspect and finishing up these races off.
And Blake brought that up too. We just were talking about the killer instinct. He said he just doesn't have that killer instinct. Great guy, just doesn't have.
It's also like a little inexperienced too, because that's why Denny Hamlin won today. Obviously,
yeah.
Like one of the oldest drivers in the sport right now. He just took these guys to school. Plain and simple.
That's a great transition, because I think let's move into the Denny Hamlin stuff. So yeah, he won the race today. Shocker. Denny Hamlin, his 3rd race win of the season with a pass. And I thought that was interesting too, that he didn't just wait William Byron out. And I think he mentioned this, and we'll get to that in a second. Reviews in the Amazon thing were like, he wanted to make that pass. He didn't want to wait around and find out if William Byron was going to run out of fuel. He went and he took that with 4 laps to go. So you can't tell me that wasn't exciting. That battle, that 2-wide battle was incredible.
It was literally 2 full laps. They were side by side going for the lead, and it was just incredible. Incredible stuff.
Listen, I will be the first to admit to you that the NASCAR product just doesn't interest me as much as it used to. Even over the last couple of years, even in 2023 and 2024, we had so many great finishes, Cole, that I felt like I wanted to tune in every week, because I didn't know who was going to win every week. There was a lot more parity, and a lot of the finishes were good, and we had some of the greatest finishes in NASCAR history even last year. But 2025 for me, the product just isn't what it should be, and I find myself tuning out quite often in this NASCAR season. So to have this to have a race like today was much needed for me, right? It wasn't even. I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I talking about? We were talking about Denny Hamlin.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I was basically saying that, like, even me, for somebody who's kind of jumped off the NASCAR bandwagon a little bit, that got me hooked. That race for the lead side by side was NASCAR at its very best. And that's why we tune in every week.
Right. No, I definitely agree. It's chess, not checkers, too. The strategy element was incredible by Hamlin and Chris Gale.
Yeah.
And also, just to go back to what you said earlier, you said that was a shocker that Denny Hamlin won?
That was a little bit in jest.
Not for the money stop, baby.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. My prediction for the win this week on Wednesday, as of recording, was Denny Hamlin. So, if you follow the money stop this week, I don't know if I can jump in on this. I love what I have seen from Denny Hamlin these past few weeks. Going into Charlotte, we had our apprehensions because they had a little bit of a backslide in terms of results. But, right now, that 11 team is riding back-to-back third-place finishes into a track where he has 2 wins. However, that last win came back in 2011. So we've gone through quite a few iterations of stock cars in that time. Now, that was just the tip of the iceberg in what was a back-to-back money stop master class because we got 6 of the top 10 drivers highlighted. That included the top 3 finishers, 9 of the top 15 finishers, and that also included bold values in Brad Keselowski for a top 10, who got his second of the season, by the way, and Eric Jones, who finished P11. So if you listen to the money stop and tail dust, you likely made out handsomely come at the end of this race in Michigan. So
let's freaking go.
That's
Shout out to the Cusimano brothers. Y'all were wondering why I'm calling Cole Money Cusimano? That's why. Because he nailed it again.
And that also excludes William Byron and Carson Hocevar, who had 2 of the best cars all day. So listen next time, this Friday.
Coming up. Ooh, this is going to be a good one, too. We'll get to a little bit later in the show. Mexico City coming up. Ooh, it's going to be good. They have NASCAR Cup Series never been there. NASCAR hasn't been there in Denny Hamlin actually won there many years ago, apparently in the Xfinity Series. But anyway, yeah, let's get to some. Let's hear from Denny Hamlin, shall we? I know y'all have all been waiting to hear from your race winner, Denny Hamlin, today at Michigan Speedway. Shout out to Glenn, who's joining us now in the chat. Glenn was there. Big Glenn was there at Michigan Speedway today. So Glenn,
what a treat.
Yeah, in the chat, we've been talking about how great that race was for us watching on TV. Let us know, Glenn. You were there in person. Was the race as good in person as it was on TV? Please let us know here in the chat, Big Glenn. Anyway, okay, let's get to Denny Hamlin. He has a lot to say. So we're going to go in order, Cody, as we previously talked about. So let's begin with Denny Hamlin talking about what it was like driving that final stint and saving fuel.
Truthfully, I thought our chances of winning were pretty much dashed when we had it's a little slower stop on the last one. I think I restarted around 12th on that last restart, and then just picked them off one by one. I mean, I just tried my best. That was not the best my car was handling on that last run, so I thought we were going to be a little limited by traffic. And, the way our car was, we had some damage on the right side of our car from the pit road incident on that last stop. So things were not optimized, to say the least. And but we just were very, beneficial of some guys running, less than 100% up front until we got there. Then they raced 100%. But it just worked over the guys one by one. Just tried to give them so many different looks.
Go ahead. You want to follow up or no? You want me to?
No, I was going to say, I kind of beat the horse to death in this one, but just hearing him strategize and how he was able to overcome all these difficulties on pit road and really just work these guys that were in fuel conservation mode really impressed me. And that's why I like when Denny Hamlin wins, honestly. Outside of the villain aspect and playing into taunting the fans, it's just hearing how he was able to get that victory because he's so calculated but so aggressive in a way that's really unique to him. And I think it's something that's going to get really appreciated once he's gone from the sport in the near future. But
yeah,
it's just cool hearing him talk about those things.
We'll have a little bit more. He followed up on that, and we'll get to that in just a second. Big Glenn chiming in. He said he absolutely loved the race, but he's just not a Denny Hamlin fan, as are a lot of people. We heard the boos from the TV, Glenn. We heard them rain down on the race winner today. And he also said that he loves fuel mileage races too, which shout out. I wish we had more of it. Yeah. You know what would help with that? Getting rid of those flipping stage cautions. All right.
That's cool. We got that despite the stage cautions too.
I know.
I was really, really happy with that.
It was a clean. I was surprised with how crazy those restarts were that we didn't get as many. Like we didn't have the truck race all over again where we just had a ridiculous amount of cautions. Like those drivers are so good. They were 4 wide, 3 wide. Like That's what made this race so good. Anyway, okay, let's continue with Denny Hamlin. Let's digress. We gotta keep going. We gotta get back on track here because we've been yapping for 30 minutes already, y'all. This is why
It's good stuff, though.
Yeah, this is why I love the YouTube show, because we can just yap, man. We can just yap, hang out with the people in the chat. We don't have to like go to break every 10 minutes. It's great. So let's continue with Denny Hamlin. Cole, did you know he's on baby watch?
I did. I knew that Ryan Truex was on standby, which is pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Here's Denny explaining why he decided to stay in the car and not leave to go back to his partner, Jordan, who is currently on baby watch.
You know, the lap 50 cutoff of, you know, if it happens before lap 50, then I just go ahead and get out just because of the time. And then if it was after, you know, I thought that by the time she gets her shit together and gets to the hospital and all that stuff, I mean, you just never know how it turns out, but it's like, I think I could make it, you know, as long as I had a 3-hour window. And if it's after lap 50, you know, it's going to take me 4. So it just, I felt decent enough about it, but we had to set some sort of cut off of, you know, whether I was going to finish or not. So I was very nervous last night and then this morning to like getting the call, because I knew I had a race winning car after yesterday. So yeah, I mean, that's the bigger picture. So you never know when you'll ever have another one. You may not. You know, I've been really supportive of her and, you know, the way that she wants to have this play out, which is as natural as possible. You know, everyone asks, why don't you just schedule? And it's just, you know, I don't know. You just got to let her decide in these situations. And, you know, if it causes me to miss a race, it's one of 701 races that I missed, and it's just not that big of a deal.
Big Dad energy galore going around in motorsports. Tony Stewart has won multiple top fuel races this year. Max Verstappen won after the birth of his daughter, Lily. Denny Hamlin about to become a dad again, and he won the race.
Graham
today.
Rahal just announced his pregnancy with.
Say that again?
Graham Rahal just announced their
That's
pregnancy
right,
as
yes,
well.
Graham Rahal. So put money on Graham Rahal to win a Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Okay. A Richie money stop bet
Richie
right there.
money
I like
stop.
that.
Yeah, Big Dad energy, baby. All right, let's keep rolling through these Denny Hamlin clips here. Here is Denny Hamlin talking about, you know, he was kind of asked how, like, was his 701st Cup start. He was kind of asked about, you know, getting booed in the stands and talking about how asking about his longevity and if, like, this winning thing kind of ever gets old, and if he's ever taken it for granted.
I mean, until the crowd shifts to mostly cheers over boos, I'm always going to antagonize the booers like that until you really get the switch, which I don't think I'm ever going to in my career. What else is there? If I can't have fun with it, like, I got to find ways to have fun doing this. It's such a grind and it's so hard to win that, you know, I found myself winning races a few years ago, and like I just moved on to Monday and it was like on to the next track. Like I never really got to spend it celebrating. You know, I took for granted that, like, well, I'm just going to win next week. I'm going to win the week after that. So like I just thought another one was going to always come. And then, you know, you have another birthday, and, you know, you keep wondering, like, how long are you going to be able to keep doing this at this level? And it's like, you know, 57 might be it. None of us in this room know. And so I'm at least going to enjoy it as if it's my last. And then I'll go to work on Monday, just like I always have. But I don't want to be so ho-hum with winning that it becomes boring, because then I lose my drive.
And I thought it was great on Amazon broadcast, and they brought him up to him in the post-race interview too. Like, the list of guys who have won races after their 700th start, I don't have the list in front of me, was like less than a dozen. I think it was less than 10 drivers all time.
They said it was 10. He was the 10th.
He was the 10th to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's flipping impressive, man.
Really impressive, yeah. The 700 Club, that's a very prestigious, club to be in right now.
Yeah, he is now the 11th all-time winningest driver in NASCAR Cup Series history. Denny Hamlin. We'll get to some of these other cuts, I think, in the second. Go ahead, Cole.
Also, the winningest driver in Joe Gibbs racing history. He surpassed Kyle Busch.
Beating out multiple champions,
Yeah.
right? With how many champions Joe Gibbs has had come through that stable?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if Denny were to leave Toyota ever, do you think he gets the same respect that Kyle Busch did when he left for Toyota and went to Chevy? Now he gets cheered, not booed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I see.
I know what you're saying.
I
but,
see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think that'd be really tricky for him to switch, only because with 2311 and Toyota.
Nothing's impossible.
But hypotheticals, I still don't think he would get that respect. I still think he'd get booed.
I still think he would.
Yeah, he's on the Joey
himself bad.
Logano train. Like it's too late in Denny Hamlin's career for him to switch around like Kyle Busch has and become a fan favorite. So
He's branded. Yep.
Yep, exactly. And Kyle Busch, like, I think he kind of changed his tune as he got older.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Denny is just like, I'm the villain and I want to piss you off until the day I retire.
KB did very much humble himself.
Yes.
Very
After
much.
it took a while, but absolutely. All right, so we'll get to the rest of those Denny Hamlin clips. Cody, go in and get ready to take us to break here because we've been yapping for 34 minutes straight without taking a break. So we're gonna switch gears coming up next. Hey, like that, switching gears on a motorsports show.
Hey, there you go.
Switching gears on a motorsports show. Coming up next, we are under 7 days away now from the IndyCar Series returning to Worldwide Technology Raceway. Sunday night under the lights, the first ever primetime Sunday IndyCar race is going to happen 8 p.m. Eastern on Fox at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Cole's going to be there. One of the drivers that is going to be in the field is the driver of the number 3 car for Team Penske. And he's going to join us next at SpeedFreaks Pits, Lucas Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinion, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
General Tire delivers.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BACK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BACK to 42424. That's BACK to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
This is Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's not like other videos. It's 1.25 miles long, and no 4 turns are the same. One wrong move, and it can bite you. It's not your normal racetrack. Some racers love it. Some hate it. Champions respect it. June 14th and 15th is not just Father's Day weekend. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Speed Freaks continues on. Happy Sunday, Freak Nation. Thanks for joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, etc., etc. No Racer Network this week. That's a good reminder, Cole. I can publicize the show. Do you see those magazines right in front of you? Can you grab one of those?
Yeah, of course.
Can you grab one of those?
Just one.
Just one, and hold it up to the camera.
This is a nice one. Look at this one.
Hold it up to the camera.
Look at that.
There's your camera right there. That's Juan Pablo Montoya.
JPM,
That's
baby.
Racer Magazine, ladies and gentlemen. Why do I bring Racer Magazine up? Look at that, Vanna White. Look at that.
Bam.
Look at that. Racer Magazine. The reason why I bring that up is because you can watch our show, Speed Freaks, every Monday at noon Eastern and Pacific on Racer Network. Replaying a show tomorrow, so we don't get our TV time, Cole, which sucks.
Yeah, man. I guess they trust us a lot over here, right?
I know they don't want to let the idiots run the control board.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks for hanging out with us here on YouTube and Facebook, etc., etc. But yeah, Racer Network, 3 p.m. noon Eastern and Pacific on Racer Network every Monday, and of course every Sunday night right here in the Lucas Oil Studios at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, live every Sunday, including next week. This is called Transition, everybody. Live next week from Worldwide Technology Raceway will be Cole Money Cusmano and Crash Gladys. They will be live from Worldwide Technology Raceway because the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 takes place on Sunday night, the first ever Sunday primetime race for the IndyCar series. One of the drivers you're going to be able to see is somebody who happens to be really good at Worldwide Technology Raceway. He got a podium there last season, a couple great finishes there. Is the driver, the number 3 for Team Penske. His name is Scott McLaughlin. He joined Cole and I earlier this week. Freak Nation, it is our pleasure to be joined by the wheelman behind the Thirsty Threes at Team Penske in the IndyCar series. It is Scott McLaughlin here in the Freak Nation. And Scott, I want to kick it off with this. Hanging out in St. Louis, obviously, ahead of the June 15th Sunday night race at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a special race for you, right, Scott? Because this is going to be your first Father's Day, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so first Father's Day, what a time to be able to go to a racetrack and experience, I guess, Father's Day, my first one at the racetrack. I mean, that's our life. It's my life. And if you had asked me what I want to do for Father's Day, it would be driving an IndyCar because I just love the sport. So, yeah, really cool.
Do you have any like set plans? Are you going to celebrate Father's Day ahead of the race weekend? Or are you going to do it on that Sunday? Or are you going to wait a little bit?
The plan is to win the race. So then that's my plan. So and then if I win a race in front of my daughter for the first time on Father's Day, I mean, I feel like it's just a moment, right? So we don't take anything for granted. But I certainly feel like this is an opportunity to do something really cool.
I thought it was cool. Myself and Crash, we were hanging out, around the kind of drivers' intros area before the race, and seeing you and your daughter being able to kind of celebrate the Indy 500, because that was her first Indy 500, right?
Yeah, it was. It was her first one for May. It was actually so before the race, you go into that green room and there's all the drivers, the celebrities that are there. Like, it's funny, you sort of like brushing shoulders with Tom Brady, which is like weird, but very cool. But I was like, there was way too many people in the green room. So I went upstairs to a really quiet spot and, I'm going to do it every year now. I'm not going to tell anyone where it is, but it was the best thing I ever did. But I hung out with Lucy and it was just surreal, Unfortunately, obviously the day didn't go that well after that, but, when you go back to the bus, you see your girls. That's all that matters.
Earlier this week, Kenny and Crash were talking to Kyle Kirkwood, who obviously won in Detroit. And one of the questions they asked Kyle was, should the IndyCar series continue this post-Indy 500 kind of bump? They had 7 million people tune in to watch the Indy 500 this year. Should they continue going to Detroit in the first week after the Indy 500, or should they continue that oval momentum and go to a place like Worldwide Technology. What are your thoughts in terms of post Indy 500? Where would you like the series go in that first post 500 race?
I don't think whether it's I don't think it's either an oval or a road course, street course. I think just having the momentum of racing. I mean, we're going to a street circuit. We were at the street circuit in Detroit. We're going to be here in a week's time at Gateway, which is always probably our most exciting race of the year. So, I'm very excited to get back onto it. But I think having that momentum, regardless of where you go, doesn't matter road course, street course, whatever. It carries that momentum from the 500. And I think we had 1 million people that were racing, watching us on the weekend. Just keep it going.
Awesome. Scott, I got to ask, as a racing fan, I've always been a big fan of night racing, just the aesthetic, seeing the cars under the lights. It just looks awesome from a fan perspective. I'm curious, as a driver, is that something you enjoy? Do you like racing under the lights?
Yeah, I do. I think the cars really perform well, and the racing, you got a little bit more grip, so you can sort of get that second groove going a little bit. So it's been a while since we ran Gateway, at night. I think it was 2021 was my first race that we did it, and that was fun. And I think it's going to be an awesome idea because one, Father's Day, you're straight after the US Open with the golf, and then you've got a beautiful night at St. Louis where it's most likely probably going to be like mid-70s, like it's a perfect night. You're not getting burnt by the sun for the fans. So much entertainment. So I think it's a really cool thing and something I'm really excited to be a part of.
Very nice. I'm curious, you kind of alluded to it there, one of the themes being an additional groove being formed. What are some nuances that you as a driver face racing at night compared to in the daytime?
I guess you could say vision. No matter how many lights you have out there, it's kind of hard to spot, marbles, like black marbles, like the grip off the tire, when I guess when it's night, it's just how it is with the color of it and and the contrast. So learning when that second group is coming in and trying to be one of the first people up there, because ultimately the first one is normally the guy that benefits the most. So yeah, that's a tough thing about the night racing part, but everyone will get an idea of it pretty quick.
Yeah, I want to follow up on this kind of with the oval racing idea. Coming over from supercars, that was obviously had to be a big transition for you to learn some of these short ovals. Was that fun for you to race something like a Worldwide Technology for the first time and really get those high speeds on those short ovals? Like that was I went to the Phoenix Raceway race many years ago, and I couldn't believe how quick you guys were going by in this mile over. It was like whipping my head back and forth. So was it fun for you to learn ovals for the first time coming over from supercars?
Oh, super fun. I mean, I probably prefer ovals now over running clip course and street course because it's just it's so different, and I enjoy the challenge of it and the intricacies to be fast and race these cars on this track at that speed. But I've always looked at like Gateway as like it's just two road course corners, it's you've got a 1 and 2 is quite tight, and then 3 and 4 is like really, really fast. But it's the way you drive it is very similar to how you would a road course, and that's the mentality I've always sort of gone into it. So it didn't feel too foreign. It was just like they're just two road course corners, and just let it eat, and that's it's fun.
You stepped into some legend cars too. I saw this week. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I'm doing the summer shootout. So Bubba Wallace, I'm good friends with him, and obviously Shane Van Gisbergen's over here now, and we were just doing it. Me and Shane are kind of like teammates. Well, Bubba's a teammate as well. We're running out of the same team with Joe Ryan. But yeah, it's fun just to do more racing, and I think I'm racing Keelan Harvick, who's 12 years old, which is pretty fun, and he's running rings around me, which is hilarious. But it's a good chance just to let your hair down, but also do some racing at the same time. And looking forward to racing every Tuesday for the next sort of 12 weeks.
That's awesome, dude. That's like a racers mentality. Is that like you'll just talking to you here? It sounds like you'll just hop into anything, right? And
I enjoy like just jumping in a car and trying to find out how to drive fast. It doesn't matter what it is. Only thing I'm sort of not allowed doing is dirt, and I'm fine with that. I think one day I can try dirt at like maybe when I'm retired or something. But ultimately this asphalt oval on the Legends car is completely different to what I've ever done, even compared to the oval on the IndyCar. So learning the car has been a lot of fun.
We asked Joseph Newgarden about running the double at the 500 as well, and he brought up your name as a possibility to run the 500, 600 double. So I'm sure you've been asked about this all the time. So you're probably sick of us asking it by now, but we got to ask it as a follow-up to this. Would you do it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I would do it. But I think I've got a few boxes I want to tick here in IndyCar first. I think, and I know it's a boring answer, but it's definitely something I'm really interested in doing. But I think I owe it to RP and the team to focus on what I'm doing here in IndyCar, and then the rest will follow. I mean, if I win the 500 at some point in the near future, it immediately would start the talks. I think for me, because I've achieved that goal. I sort of don't want to take away from the effort and the time it takes to win that race, because there's a lot. And take my focus and race the 600 as well. Kind of, if you look at Larson, like he was burnt out from doing it the last couple of years, and I need to make sure that I've won this big race and ultimately the one that I want to win the most before I even think about moving on to something else and doing something crazy like that.
That's so cool to hear. And I feel that win is coming because you're no stranger to winning on ovals in IndyCar. You won 2 last year, if I'm not mistaken, at Iowa and Milwaukee. So what does it take to win on these disciplined oval tracks, and what's it going to take to win here next week at Worldwide Technology Raceway?
Look, it's just a lot of, like I said, the intricacies about learning each oval. I think Iowa and Milwaukee and Gateway are completely different to each other, but in some ways there's some similarity to the way you drive. So I think it's just not over, complicating things, simplifying a few things, and at the same time just wheeling it. You just gotta put your nuts on the dash and send it. You know what I mean? So that's just how it is, and it's a lot of fun.
Gotcha. And I got to ask, looking at the broad scope of this season so far, obviously it's no secret Alex Palou's been outstanding. He's won all these races. You got 2 winners in total, and him and Kirkwood. So when you have a season like this through 7 races where you have 2 drivers, or I guess 1 essentially, dominating through these 7 starts, does that irritate you as a driver? Does it motivate you? What does that do for you as a driver when you have 2 drivers basically dominating the sport?
Oh, look, it's it. Sometimes you get on a roll. I think Alex has been incredible this season. Kyle, yeah, he's won a couple of races for sure, but I think he's taken the wins that he could win and start up front and just executed. And Alex has kind of did the same, but he's also won races that he shouldn't have as well. And it's amazing that he's done that. It's incredible to watch. It is frustrating from my point of view, but you have to learn from it. You have to be, understand, well, where are they better and where I need to improve. And I think my start of my season's been pretty strong, but unfortunately, there's one guy that's won 5 out of 6 races, so I'm myself a long way behind. But don't overthink anything. Just keep going, and just hopefully it all comes together towards the end of the year.
A long way to go. You were my preseason championship pick, by the way, here at SpeedFreaks. I gotta ask, Richie informed me before we hopped on today that you're a New York Knicks fan. I'm repping the orange and the blue. I'm a Knicks fan as well.
Oh, nice.
Tough loss this past week, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, being out there in Indy for the 500, there's a few drivers from that area. Did you have any friendly wagers on the series? And if so, what was that like?
No, I had plenty of wagers, and I'm definitely, my wallet's a little lighter, that's for sure. But I'm a Knicks fan since I was 2 years old. My family went to New York. They brought me back a Knicks jersey, and away we went. But I just found myself in Indianapolis during that series, and it was wild. I love it. I love the Knicks, always will. I'm surprised that they fired Tom Thibodeau, but this is a racing podcast, not a basketball podcast. We'll talk about it another day. But love sport and really enjoy it.
Scott, no, that's okay. We're called Speed Freaks for a reason. So this is my last question. Put on your Charles Barkley hat like you're on TNT, and Scott McLaughlin is the newest NBA on ESPN TNT analyst. Did you or did you not like the firing of Tibbs as head coach of the New York Knicks?
I'm torn because I think we do need something different, but he's done so many good things for us. I think Tibbs ran our starters out. Didn't really pay too much defense, and we got caught out. But doesn't mean he hasn't done amazing stuff for us and put us on the map. But what he's done for us in the last 5 years will get us trades and value on our team for 10, 15 years, hopefully. So, I'm sad he's gone, but I'm excited for the future.
We'll be back. That I believe.
Scott McLaughlin, he's the driver, the number 3, the Thirsty Threes in the IndyCar Series for Team Penske. You can see him June 15th under the lights at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Go get your tickets, www.raceway.com. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Happy Father's Day. Congratulations on being a dad for the first time. And we'll see you at WWT Raceway here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. See you guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
Yeah, that was Scott McLaughlin in the Freak Nation, joining Cole, Money Cusimano, and myself earlier this week. And Cole, as we mentioned, I think in the interview there, or earlier in the show, for the first time, I mean, not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, you get to go experience IndyCar in person because you're going to be there next week at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
I am thrilled. And it's cool because I got to experience IndyCar twice when they were at Phoenix Raceway probably over 10 years ago now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was there as a fan. I really, I was a big NASCAR guy. I really wasn't that engaged. I didn't think the racing was great. And, obviously being around racing more and getting a better appreciation for fuel mileage and tire conservation and all these strategy that goes into racing, I think I have a better appreciation for IndyCar, and especially like watching the season more intently this year made me appreciate the sport more. And even like just seeing how these drivers operate. And I think for me, even just like seeing Alex Palou on track in person is going to be so cool because it's like you're witnessing history, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just also being in the media field, getting to talk to these drivers one-on-one and seeing these cars under the lights, of course. Like I love night racing. It's going to be amazing. I talked to Crash a little bit about like kind of how these guys operate and if they're nice with the media. She said they're all really cool, so it's kind of it'll be like NASCAR, I think, but in a different world, I guess.
I'm excited. Next week after the race, you can watch us, listen to us, Speed Freaks Radio Network here on YouTube as well. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts about seeing this sport live in person at a place like WWT Raceway again, since it's been so long since you've seen IndyCar. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say about that. Kenny's going to be in Mexico City next week at the NASCAR race. Are you bummed that you couldn't be? I know you brought this up in our text thread, and we'll bring it up. We have to go to break here in about a minute or so. But are you more excited to be at WWT, or would you rather have gone to Mexico City?
I'm going to be honest. I actually would rather be at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Hell yeah.
And that's not like a shameless plug or anything. First of all, I love, as I said, night racing. I just want to really experience IndyCar from the media side and get to interact with these guys and see it up close and personal, And also, I've been to Worldwide Technology Raceway once before. Saw Austin Cindric win a couple years ago. So it's a great facility, a great area, and I just think the whole experience is going to be really cool. Like those, obviously, Blair teased the explosions. They got some really good 90s lineup for music for Father's Day.
Yeah.
So I'm really pumped up, man.
Yep. Again, we're going to keep drilling into your head, y'all. WWTRaceway.com. Go get your tickets. Spend Father's Day night out at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Are you ready to go to break there? Cody Big Johnson behind the glass over there, the voice of God. Coming up in the second hour, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hear from Carl Edwards and Daniel Suarez and the debut of our NASCAR tier lists. That's next here in the Speed Freaks pits and Lucas Oil Studios.
Live TV.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Freak Nation, head to your local General Tire dealership now to check out the latest additions to their product lineup. The Grabber family of tires are engineered for durability and feature innovative performance features that offer all-terrain capability, blending exceptional off-road durability and impressive on-road performance, all while sporting aggressive styling. For outstanding off-road performance coupled with strong street manners, look no further than General Tire. General Tire delivers for whatever you do, and the official tire of Speed Freaks since 2001.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
This is Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's not like other videos. It's 1 1/4 miles long, and no 4 turns are the same. One wrong move, and it can bite you. It's not your normal racetrack. Some racers love it. Some hate it. Champions respect it. June 14th and 15th is not just Father's Day weekend. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
For more than 30 years, Lucas Oil Products has been solving some of the most difficult mechanical problems in the automotive, marine, and industrial industries. From our original Core 4 products, heavy-duty oil stabilizer, power steering, stop leak, transmission fix, and fuel treatment, we have now developed over 400 custom products to help solve some of the world's toughest mechanical issues. Go to lucasoil.com to see what we have in store for you. Lucas Oil, it works.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 16th through the 26th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Hour number 2, Cody, hit the open.
Big Johnson.
Hit the open.
Big
Voice
Johnson.
of God, Cody Big Johnson.
CBJ.
Daddy, I'm sorry, but I beat your favorite driver, folks.
And at the same time, just wheeling it. You know, you just gotta put your, put your
nuts on the dash.
Your nuts on the dash and send it. You know what I mean?
You can try again.
Freak Radio Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios. Driven by General Tire.
Rock on, baby!
I am serious. Here's the Freaks.
Speed Freaks continues. It is, of course, a Sunday night here from the Lucas Oil Studios, live on YouTube and Facebook. Generally, we are live on Monday afternoons on Racer Network at 12 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. But it's just myself, Richie Suave Flores, Cole Money Cusimano, and Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, helping us run the show here this evening. So thanks for hanging out with us here on YouTube. And Kenny and Crash will be back with us, I believe, on Wednesday for Horsepower Hump Day. They're on vacation this weekend, so they let the idiots run loose this week.
It's been fun. Good show.
I enjoy it. You've had a lot to talk about. The race was great. Denny Hamlin is your winner, and what Cole and I said back in the first hour was the race of the year 2025. Some people are agreeing with this, some people not. That's okay. Let us know at SpeedFreaks on Twitter, or if you're watching us live on YouTube, let us know in the chat if you haven't already, and let us know how much you enjoyed that race at Michigan in the NASCAR Cup Series on Sunday. Cole, one thing we didn't mention back in the first hour, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it because it was one of the big storylines about this race, was Alex Bowman and the crash. There it is right there if you're watching us. Look at that impact, dude.
That's one of those wrecks where you see it in person and even the replay, and you're just like, you wince because it's that bad. That was a brutal freaking hit, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think watching that live, it was like, oh, geez. And all three of us in our group text were just like, oh, damn. Scary, scary crash for Alex Bowman. He said after the race, I feel okay. It was the biggest hit I've ever taken in a stock car by a mile, but head on into the wall at Michigan. It's going to be that way. So yeah, just try to go and get them next week. And for Alex Bowman, it's been a rough go at things this year. For the last couple of years, really, it's been a rough go for him. Really, Alex Bowman, Cole, has had a little bit of an injury history, unfortunately, inside the race car.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple of years back, he had that where he broke his vertebrae racing sprint cars. But there were signs of life and really a lot of encouragement, I think, towards the end of last season in the playoffs specifically. If you remember back to that, Alex Bowman ripped off quite a few really good quality, like top 5, top 10 finishes. There was a point where he had the most points scored in the playoffs. He was in contention to make the round of 8, and then he got disqualified, obviously, following at the Roval. But even to start this year off, he had 5 top 10s in his first 6 starts, and now it's been just one thing after the other. And now he's back down to 15th in points with the playoffs, getting closer and closer. And previewing our tiers list here, it's a big topic of concern for this 48 team, especially with how the other teammates are performing at Hendrick Motorsports right now.
Actually, that's a great. Before we get to our tier list, let's touch on that real quick too, because as you were just talking, it did bring up to me that Hendrick, and we talked about how William Byron has become a choke artist and that he doesn't have the killer instinct in him really needed to win a championship. And he lost another race today where he led 98 laps out of the 200, and he had a really great race car. But, Chase Elliott struggled today.
I don't know what's up with him, man. It's like every race is the same now. So at the beginning of the year, they were getting top 10s, challenging for top 5s. Now they've been more like top 15 reliant, and you're seeing a trend now where they have speed in the beginning of the race, and then towards the end, they fade back to 15th or 20th. And I think the thing with Chase Elliott and that 9 team is they've been consistent enough to where they've been competitive. He's still ranked top 5 in points. He has, I think he's tied for second in best average finish. But it's got to equal out at some point. There's got to be a change. It's too much.
Yeah. And real quick, before we go to Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God behind the glass over there, he was leading the race for a bit. He had one of the great overtakes. I'm using F1 term, great passes. Excuse me, sorry, Freak Nation. He had one of the great passes under green for the lead earlier today, and then he had the trouble on pit road where he was originally penalized, and then they rescinded the penalty, and then we just never saw him again. Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. Go ahead.
I was just going to simply say the man won the first race of the season. Chase Elliott.
He did. That's right. Yeah, but you know what? Cody? That shit don't fucking matter.
Nice.
Devil's advocate, Richie. Devil's advocate.
Sorry, we're on YouTube. Oh, God damn it. Oh, no. Shoot.
And you dropped a GD.
Oh, man. We're going to get demonetized so quickly.
My mom is so mad at you right now. She heard that.
Ooh, you pissed off Mama Johnson.
Mama Johnson.
She's the one who will be making you these baked goods.
Dude, we're never. Oh my God.
Don't forget.
Hang on a second. Okay, we're gonna derail ourselves for goodness sake. But I love it. Shout out to Mama Johnson because every time she brings us goodies, they are so god dang good, dude.
Yeah.
The barbecue sauce, the spicy barbecue sauce that she made for us. Bro, I had that in my fridge on a consistent. I ate that so much. I was like, oh, this is terrific. I was dipping my French fries in it for a while. Shout out Mama Johnson. So thank you. I know you're watching. Thank you, Mama Johnson, for all of your great goodies that you've brought into the Freak Nation. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful. So thank you.
Absolutely. To go back to the barbecue sauce real quick, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I actually brought it to Amici, and I had it on some wings.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just tops. Yeah.
I've been telling her she needs to like do something with it for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yes.
The whole family says so. Now you guys are more testimony that it should be done.
We're going to sell it. SpeedFreaks.tv.
Yeah, there we
You know
go.
what?
Ooh,
we
bro,
should maybe.
SpeedFreaks. Oh,
We maybe should. 'Cause
Come
it
on.
is
sauce.
It is called "Gentlemen, Start Your Engines."
let's go. Hell yeah.
is the
Hell
title
yeah.
of
We're
the
just digging.
sauce.
We are digging rabbit holes out the kazoo. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's SpeedFreaks. It's okay. Back on track. Talking about Hendrick Motorsports.
Yes.
They have been between Chase Elliott, William Byron. Kyle Larson has had his struggles over the last month. He had that really nasty wreck in the World of Outlaws, which we didn't bring up. We should bring
Yeah.
up now. And that was a gnarly wreck. Scary. Toppled over. Lost his steering wheel. Like walked away. Thank goodness. Go ahead, Cody.
His axle broke and he flew into the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
Essentially is what happened.
Yeah.
Don't have the clip, but
Yeah, we tweeted that out at SpeedFreaks. You can go find it. Well, like Hendrick Motorsports in general this year is just, it's just like something's like missing. Is it just me or is it like, I know it's like Chase and Kyle are in the top 5 in points, but like,
So, in my opinion, Kyle Larson and William Byron have been head and shoulders above the rest this year in regards to everything. Finishes, just overall competitiveness and speed. But like with Chase Elliott, it's just so frustrating because they've been good enough, and that's it. Like the lowest finish this year he's had is 20th, which is really good, and he has top 10 speed. But you want to see race-winning speed from a team like that 9 team and Chase Elliott, and he's capable of doing it. He's a former champion, but like, what's it going to take? Is it going to take a crew chief change? Is it going to take maybe some new guys on pit road? Like, I just don't know what the next step is for that 9 team in taking that next leap.
yeah, and that's like the crazy thing. I was just saying that like it just to me like they're all these 3 of those guys, 3 of the Hendrick guys are all top 5 in points. William Byron, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott are all up there in points, but it just for whatever reason it just seems like they're just missing something. Like either kicking themselves with crashes or mistakes or whatever. Something's missing from them right now that to me doesn't put them in that elite tier to like really make them championship contenders.
Oh,
and I don't know what it is quite yet to put my finger on it. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I'm talking about 3 drivers who are in the top 5 in points. I'm just like, something's just missing. That organization just doesn't feel the same. And I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I'm crazy. Please tell me if I'm crazy.
I don't feel that way about the 5 and 24 team,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely for the 9 and 48, absolutely. Like there's something that's not right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
We're going to get to our tier list in just a moment, but I do want to go to our YouTube chat here. And Brian is weighing in saying, William Byron is the only guy not fading as we head into the usual HMS summer lull. And that's right. Like
very true.
We talked about it back in the first hour, Brian. Like Byron is the guy. He's often the guy and the car that has the best car every week, but he just can't pull it off. And he's choked away several wins already this season. Brian continued. Chase Elliott has taken the mantle from Harvick during his later years as a guy good enough to run near the front but not win.
That's a great comparison.
That's a really good comparison. Absolutely. All right, and talking about these drivers and kind of we're talking about a little bit kind of tiering these drivers at the top of the sport. Let's get into something we've been teasing all show. And Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, you were the one who brought this to our attention and came up with this idea, so thank you. So please explain yourself here and these NASCAR driver tiers and what we're about to talk about. I'm putting you on the spot, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God.
I would just say that it's how we are ranking them, who you think is the best to the 2025 season. It's obviously opinion driven.
Yes.
Nothing is factual on any of this.
Well, I mean,
depending on whose list you're looking at.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes, this is. Oh, we're gonna fire some people
That's
out.
Tease.
Shout out to Brian again in the chat. I don't think any of us are gonna be in Chicago, but hopefully we see you. I know Cole has some more races coming up that he's gonna attend in NASCAR.
I am trying to get to Atlanta at the end of the month.
Ooh.
It's our off week here at
Yeah.
SpeedFreaks,
Yeah.
but I can't stay away from racing. So
Yeah.
I've been
So
trying
thanks
to
for
get there.
thanks
and
for
Dover as well.
So thanks for hanging out, Brian. We'll see you, if anything. We'll see you at Phoenix come November, I'm sure. Anyway, okay, so let's get to our tier lists. Who do we want? Cody, you're Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. You can pick who we start with, and then whoever you pick, please explain yourself and why you chose what you chose, and then we'll debate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna let you ask a question about it because there's a lot of drivers to talk about.
Hold on, I gotta move. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I can't see this.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, this is for 2025.
Yeah, and my general overall feel about them.
Okay.
Of.
Do you want to weigh in first at all or no?
Okay, so I see. Okay, this is too even for me. That's my big thing. Like everything's too even. Like it's not there. To me, there should be more. You'll see when we get to mine in a second.
I thought about changing mine when I saw yours.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought the same thing. It was a little too even.
Yeah, because like there's two. Like to me, especially anymore, guys. There's such a big drop off between who's good and who's not anymore.
Yeah.
In
no, it
2020,
is, yeah.
2023, in the first few years of the next gen era, something like that would have made more sense to me. But now, like, there's such a big drop off anymore between your elite championship contenders and then literally everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my takeaway from you. Bring that back up again because I want to see who you have on your S tier. Okay, this is what's sticking out to me. Why do you have 4 guys in your S tier? S tier is like,
because I feel like those 4 drivers at literally any week, one of those guys could win.
So this is your championship 4 in a way.
You could put it that way, sure.
Oh, okay, that kind of makes sense.
You could put it that way.
So,
I'll accept that.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
My question is, why do you have Brad Keselowski, who just scored his second top 10 of the season, in the A tier?
Well, I said it was kind of based on general feel, too.
General feel?
I feel like he's one of
Vibes.
the veterans.
He's had speed.
That
I get that.
If you were to put him in a Hendrick seat, he's winning 3 races this year.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's kind of how I feel about it. I wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
ranking them on their car. I was ranking them on them and what they're able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could see Hocevar up there, and all these people are kind of higher than what they should be, but that's just because they're overdriving some.
No, I definitely have some of those on mine as well, so I have to
to
mention
people
that.
that are outperforming their equipment is kind of where it laid.
Right.
But
That's a good way to describe it. Okay, that's Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. That is his list. Let's go to Cole's list. Cole, you're next.
Nice.
And there you are.
All right. Yeah, so the S tier has to be, obviously, I just mentioned, I don't want to go too deep on Byron and Larson, obviously, as being 2 of the best in the sport right now. But Christopher Bell, I feel like after he got those 3 consecutive wins, there were very lofty expectations to live up to, and it was almost like he wasn't meeting those expectations. But you look at his season stats, he's definitely been right up there with them. I mean, Christopher Bell, second most top 10s this year and tied for second best average finish in the series. So I know stats aren't always a great determining factor, but he's been in a lot of races this season. I don't know that he's had as much race-winning speed as the 24 and the 5, but you look at the numbers and just kind of how he's done overall, he's definitely been one of the best drivers all year. Denny Hamlin is kind of self-explanatory. I think he's been...
Hey, you called it today, man. He won the race today, so there's a reason he's in the A tier.
Yeah, I
3
mean...
race wins this year.
Tied for most wins, second in top 5s, but 6 finishes outside the top 20 is what did it for me with Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, those 3 guys that they're pick and choose can win any week. Denny's definitely that next driver down that can get it done. And then going off what Cody said with his tier for A, I went with that for B. I have Carson Osevar in there, Ryan Preece, and I would also add Josh Berry, actually, as 3 drivers that are well outperforming their equipment and their expectations going into this season. I kind of alluded to
Hocevar is way too high.
You think so?
Way too high. He's got all of the talent in the world, as he proved again today at Michigan, but his results, he's still just outside the top 16 to make the playoff cut right now. That's way too high for me.
But my thing is, so you look at his teammates, Michael McDowell and Justin Haley both have 1 top 10 this year.
Yeah, so he's outperforming his teammates. Yeah,
and he's had race-winning speed the last 3 weeks,
Yeah.
And you could argue all year he's had the speed to contend.
Right.
But yeah, it's a matter of putting it all together.
They were showing the comparison on Prime between Hocevar and his teammates, and he was second. Everybody else was 22nd and 25th, I think.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
He's definitely outdriving his
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay, so if you take a look at Cole's list, you'll see somebody who's right in the middle of that chart right there in the C tier.
Yes. Now you're gonna point out.
This is the perfect freaking transition. Cody, bring up the best list. Let's go. Come on. Take a look at Richard C. Suave's list right there. And I'm not trolling with this, y'all. Y'all are going to look at this, Freak Nation. Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, Cole Money Kusamano. You guys look at this list here and you're like, what the F is this guy smoking? Why is a guy who is like barely inside of the top 10 in points on his own in the elite tier? I explained it earlier in the show. He is, to me, the epitome of what it means to be a Hall of Fame elite driver.
Mm-hmm.
It's Joey Logano.
He's
the guy to beat for the championship every year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got 3 championships right now. He's not even 35, dude. Like, he's still going to be around for a decade, and he's still going to win 2 or 3 more championships.
Easily.
I'm sorry. He may not be the...
Who's laughing now?
Like, he may not be the guy to beat every week, but when I think of a driver, when I think of an athlete, I want championship DNA. And that's what Joey Logano brings, and that's why he is on the elite tier for me. Come at me, bro. I know you guys are pissed off because we talked about it in our chat, so come at me.
I'm not pissed off, actually. I 1,000% agree with all of what you just said, but my list was geared towards what we've seen through 15 races this year. And through 15 races, Joey Logano, 4 top 10s, very inconsistent. What I will say is he's been trending in the right direction. 3 top 10s over his last 4 starts. Had a really puzzling result today. Just really wasn't a contender at all in this one. But I had thoughts of putting him in the B tier for that reason, trending up in the right direction. But overall, I need to see more from that team. If he would have got a top 10 today, or at least fought contender for a top 10, I would have put him in there. But I got to see more from that team.
Cody Big Johnson, why are you pissed off at me? I know you are.
I wouldn't say I'm pissed off, but I'm definitely confused how the man in the blue suit there is not on that top row.
I explained it already, bro.
I know you explained.
Kyle Larson.
I'm just gonna be confused.
Kyle Larson is again like I will not deny his talent. I know like we've joked about him on this show. I have about in terms of like he's not the greatest driver, etc. But he's good, man. He is. There's a reason why I have him and Christopher Bell together. Christopher Bell was my pick to win the championship at the beginning of the season. Christopher Bell is seemingly always in the championship 4, and he should have been in the championship 4 last year if he didn't get screwed over by NASCAR's shitty decision at Martinsville.
That was pretty bad.
I said that too at the time. I thought that was stupid. I thought Christopher Bell deserved that spot. But so that's why I have those 2 there. Is those 2 are my championship contenders, and they're always going to be the guys that are going to contend for championships. And then you kind of go down from there. My B tier, if you look at it's mostly past champions. Shout out to the past champions, except for Denny Hamlin, and I put Denny Hamlin in the B tier is because he's a Hall of Fame driver. We talked about it. He's 11th all-time wins. He's in the B tier, and just like everybody else, my C tier is guys who are all NASCAR Cup Series winners at some point times in their career. That's what that is, except for Carson Ozavar, who I have in the C tier because I've been impressed with how he's been driving this year. And in B tier, I don't know who half those guys are. No offense. Bring that back up, Cody. Bring that back up, damn it. Name the guy here. Cole, name the guy in the green. This guy.
It's Zane Smith. I love Zane Smith.
Who's next to him?
John Hunter Nemechek.
Who's that guy?
Cody Ware. That's Cody Ware.
What about him?
Daniel Suarez. Eric Jones. Chandler Smith.
God damn it.
Todd Gilliland.
Come
at me, bro.
You're proving me wrong.
What I was going to say is that if you're talking about like overall careers mixed with what we've seen in 2025, I agree with a bulk of that list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. See, I'm right. As always, I'm right. Cody Big Johnson, go ahead.
I also agree your list is not that refutable. It's okay. I'll give it to you. I'm gonna hold a personal bias against the man in that blue suit. And I know it's just because you have a hatred for me that you talk shit about Larson.
That's not true. Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. I do not hate you, okay? That's not true. I don't have no personal hatred towards you or Kyle Larson, okay? I just tell people
it's all love.
That second part, I don't know about that.
I just speak the truth, and I speak the facts. So I think all of us did a good job putting that together. We'll ask Kenny and Crasher to do the same thing for Wednesday because I want to see what their lists look like too.
I want to see Crasher's IndyCar list.
Ooh, me too.
That would be a nice little twist.
We should maybe do that for WWT coming up. We should do
I like that.
this again, but with IndyCars.
Okay.
I think she'll enjoy that
Okay.
too.
I can dig that. That would be fun to do. Before we go to break, let's go to our chat here. Blake, thank you, Blake. Shout out. Hate to admit it, but that makes perfect sense.
Was Logano probably?
Speaking about my list, yes.
Spot on, man.
How do you know that was about your list and not mine
I
or
wish
Cole's?
we had a. Oh, I'm sorry.
Say that again?
How do you know that was about your list and not mine or Cole's?
It says Rich C right there.
Okay,
It's totally
fine,
about
I'll let you
Logano.
have it.
So that's me.
I wish we would have gotten you framed up for that spiel, because that's definitely like social media content worthy. And it'll piss people off, but it's so goddamn true. There is nobody better at closing and contending when it matters than Joey Logano and the entire 22 team. Paul Wolfe, in my opinion, best crew chief in the garage area, superseding Cliff Daniels and guys like that.
Cole's just explaining why my list was the best. And I will put all the lists up at SpeedFreaks on Twitter. We can let people chime in and see who's right and who's wrong. Real quick, let's go to Brian again here. He's asking why there's no F tier. Ty Gibbs lives by himself because he can't compete in a JGR car.
Hey, it'd be pretty much him and Austin Dillon.
Hey, Ty ran good today, man. He had a good run.
Ty did. He has some surprising speed in that race, yeah.
All right, that was the debut. I thought that was a great segment, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great segment.
Good job, Cody.
Nice work. I like that. We'll do
Appreciate that.
I really like that on a weekly basis. I think I'd like to start doing that. I think that'll be fun and see if any of our lists change as it comes along. My list can change because if you win a race, you get bumped up. Automatically get bumped up.
We should clarify, though, that yours is like career long, basically.
Mine's
right?
like an overall arcing thing rather than just this season. So there's a lot of bias. Go ahead, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God.
Host of our wins a race. That puts him in the B tier, and you're going to have to hold
Hell
up to
yeah,
that.
baby. And then that would prove Cole right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
So he just needs to win 2, so then it can be the Larson and Carson show?
Ooh.
Larson and Carson show. I like that
That's
so
good.
much. That's so good. All right. Cody, get us ready to go to break here because we're going to go to break. And what the hell are we going to talk about next? What the hell did I have scheduled here? Does anybody? This is the great thing.
Well, come on, man. Carl Edwards. We got Daniel Suarez. Bro.
I got so pumped up about that and so fired up that I forgot what we were going to get to next. But thank you for reminding me. We have some throwbacks on tap for us coming up next. We have. I'm excited this because coming up here in a couple weeks, June 25th, 2000. Cole Money Cusimano, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. I'm going to continue to call you that.
I love it.
Full name. Full government name, Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. I'm going to make that stick, and that's your thing.
That might have to be what my Chiron says eventually.
That's like the
2 rows of line or 2 rows of text. Christ.
It's like the equivalent of the Logano clip for me. Every time you say it, I just laugh. I can't help but laugh. It's like a reflex now at this point.
Okay. Back on track, for the love of goodness. My God, this is why they don't let us do the show by ourselves, y'all.
I definitely understand why Kenny and Crash did not give us full permission to air the racer or the radio show. This has been derailed.
No, I dropped
times.
an F-bomb about 15 minutes ago, for goodness sake. So
yeah, I think
that's
we've
a
all
definite no.
We've all dipped our toe in the pool tonight.
Okay, yes. 25 years of the Freak Nation. We're going to celebrate that on June 25th. The first show aired June 25th of 2000. So we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And because of that, and because Carl Edwards is back on our televisions as part of the prime broadcast coverage, Kenny Sargent caught up with Carl Edwards all the way back in 2005, shortly after his first career win, when he was driving, of course, for Roush Racing at the time. Carl Edwards from 2005, next as part of the Lucas Oil Studios here in the Freak Nation. Cody, go to break.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Freak Nation, get this. General Tire has launched a comprehensive Shield Plus Advantage plan for passenger and light truck tires. What that means for you is when you purchase General Tires, the Shield Plus Advantage plan lets you enjoy a complete package of multiple warranties and coverage to get the most from your tires. The plan applies to all General Tire passenger and light truck tires purchased as replacements in the U.S. and Canada with DOT serial numbers. For more information, hit them up on GeneralTire.com. General Tire, the official tire of Speed Freaks for 2 decades.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 16th through the 26th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Keeping your pride and joy perfect is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Start with Slick Mist Speed Wax. Simply mist on and wipe off for a professional detailer shine. For your tires and trim, there's Lucas Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Spray on and wipe off for better than new look. Then finish her with Lucas Slick Mist Interior Detailer. Just spray and wipe. Easy. Use Lucas Slick Mist Car Care products and she'll never look better. Fast, easy, and professional. Really, it's sort of like having an extra set of hands. Or 3.
This is Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's not like other videos. It's 1.25 miles long, and no 4 turns are the same. One wrong move, and it can bite you. It's not your normal racetrack. Some racers love it. Some hate it. Champions respect it. June 14th and 15th is not just Father's Day weekend. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-5222. That's 800-885-5222. Again, that's 800-885-5222.
General Tire delivers. SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
This Freakin' segment's brought to you by good friends at General Tire and the Grabber HT. The Grabber HT is a long-lasting, all-season touring tire for crossovers, light trucks, and SUVs. Developed for year-round traction, this tire comes complete with a replacement tire monitor and visual alignment indicators, which aid in detecting tire wear. For more information, go to GeneralTire.com. General Tire, the official tire of the freaks for over 2 decades.
I forgot to put my hat back on. Sorry. GeneralTire.com, everybody. You can head there and you can find where your closest retailer is. That's right, GeneralTire.com. And you can find your closest retailer so you can get yourself a set of new tires. Beat the Freaks, we did not do it this week. Kenny and Crash are on vacation, so we'll do that next week. And we'll probably do Mexico City. So we're going to get to Daniel Suarez, speaking of Mexico City, here in a few minutes. But before we do that, Cole, we are about to play an interview that I found on the SpeedFreaks YouTube channel because we are getting set to celebrate 25 years of the Freak Nation. Mm-hmm. Kenny always does this with me, so I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, God.
June 25th of 2000. What were you doing in the year 2000 when the show first began?
In the year 2000?
Yes.
I remember being in preschool, actually, yeah. In Staten Island, New York at PS4, yes. Yeah, I remember that vividly. Because, I mean, 2000 was a big year, obviously. It's the new millennium.
Y2K?
So. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're too young to remember Y2K, right?
No, definitely. But
Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, also too young to remember Y2K?
I mean, very, very brief memories, if any.
I just remember, like, the year 2000 being a big deal, but...
Yeah. So I was 9 at the time when the show first started. So I was, third grade? Yeah, fourth grade, I think.
I think that's
grade,
third or fourth grade. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I was third or fourth grade, and so I was mostly worried about I was watching the Diamondbacks. I was a big baseball guy. I was worried about. I played baseball at the time, so
I think SpongeBob was my jam at that time.
Oh yeah, easy.
It was a big deal.
Speaking of longevity and being around for 25 years, SpongeBob SquarePants still the same.
We did meet Mr. Krabs in Phoenix too.
Yes, we did.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. You can go watch that interview on the SpeedFreaks YouTube channel.
Clancy Brown,
exactly.
Man.
So that's what we were doing in the year 2000. In the year 2000, when SpeedFreaks started, so I went back on the YouTube channel and I wanted to go find a throwback interview. And I was like, okay, well, how do I want to do this? Who do I want to play? And I went and I found an interview with Carl Edwards from 2005. Not too long after he won his first race at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Cup Series. Then it was called the Nextel Cup Series. And Carl Edwards is now on the Prime broadcast. So I thought, okay, now that Carl Edwards has meandered his way back into NASCAR on the Prime broadcast, I thought it would be cool if we played this interview with Kenny Sargent and Carl Edwards from 2005. Cody, hit it.
Let's go inside the freaking ride with Kenny Sargent.
Carl Edwards in the SpeedFreaks pits inside the ride. Carl, you're winning all these races. You don't have enough time for us. You're supposed to be on our show Sunday night. We hear you're going to phone in, and you don't. Man, you can't snub the Freak Nation, Edwards.
I love the Freak Nation. I just got Speed Channel just so I could watch the SpeedFreaks deal. But you guys have always been awesome to me. I'm sorry if I missed your show. I didn't know I was supposed to call in.
It's all right. We still love you, man. You're still one of our faves. I'm not going to ask the same tired questions about how does it feel to win, doing the backflips and all that. Let me ask you this. What are things that you can't do now that you were able to do before all these wins? Something that comes to mind.
It's a little harder to walk to your car, for qualifying. I was just walking out to the charter car today, and the fans here at Texas are crazy. It was wild. Just got mobbed. I had 2 security guys just help me walk to my car. So, but, man, I'll take that any day. I used to be able to walk around, nobody even look at me. So it's cool. It's awesome. But, yeah, it's different. Fans, people, everyone recognizes me, and that's fun.
So boy from Missouri. Been in the SpeedFreaks pits for about 3 or 4 years now. Actually, before you were sponsored by Jack Roush, I think you came in. And with that, can you reflect on what you were doing 5-6 years ago on some dirt tracks? I mean, how nasty is that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. In 2000, we were racing for a track championship in Holt Summit, Missouri, with our modified on dirt.
What was the name of the city?
Jefferson City, Missouri. It's Holt. Yeah, Holt Summit is the real town that the racetrack was in. And dude, we were driving this school bus that Kenny Schrader hooked me up with, a bright orange school bus with a ramp on the back of it. Eating ham sandwiches, sneaking people into the pits because we couldn't afford to pay for all our crew, and just going racing like everybody is all around the country. And so to be here and to be talking to you and to have an Atlanta Nextel Cup Series win trophy sitting at home, it's crazy. It's amazing.
Jack Roush told some good stories about you. I won't share them with the Freak Nation. But he's one of those guys who will tell it like it is. Like it or not, Carl Edwards. And now you've put yourself on the pedestal to be shot at a number of times. Has Jack given you some information or some help on how to take those shots? Because people are gunning for you, physically and mentally.
Yeah. I don't know. I know what you're getting at. Jack said, I always have a smile on my face because I'm happy to be here, and I have a good time racing. But, I grew up at the dirt
in
track.
Missouri.
Yeah, and I know how it is. We race hard, and, but I've been through that. We went through that at the local level, and I've been through the arguing at the races and, grabbing people by the throat and all that stuff. And that's not what we're here to do right now. And if people, I'm getting better at just saying, you know what, I'm here to race, and that's what I'm here to do, is have a good time, to race, to win. And I don't really worry too much about what other people think. Right now, it's awesome. Everybody's, great, and they're writing good stories about me and all that. But I mean, I'm aware that all that can change in a heartbeat, and I'm still the same dude no matter what.
Carl, say goodbye to Freak Nation.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you for watching.
He's kind of happy.
I'm always happy, dude. I'm having fun. Look, we got food. We went racing today. We're here talking to fans.
You're in Texas, dude.
That's right.
2025 NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee Carl Edwards. He finished his career with 28 wins across 445 Cup Series races. Cole, during that interview, I was telling you that like I forgot that he was driving the number 60 car when he won his first race. I completely forgot about that. He's always been number 99 to me.
Oh yeah,
right. As with everybody else, but like I completely forgot he won the 60 car. But Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, you had a quick Carl Edwards story that you wanted to share.
Just that when I was growing up, that was one of my heroes. It went from Dale Jarrett to Denny to Carl.
Yeah. Hell
and
yeah.
Then it changed a little bit as I matured and had a brain, but still love Carl. But I had like every pennant for his wins taped to tacked to my dad's roof in the garage, and I'll just never ever forget that Scott's 60 car that he won at Atlanta and did his first backflip with. I'll never forget it.
That's wild that you actually remember that, because like I've just erased that from my memory, because this was around the time when I was like. That was like around the time when I really started watching the Cup Series. It was around 04, 05. So, I was, 13 or 14 years old. Go ahead.
My dad had an entire room growing up that was dedicated to Dale Earnhardt memorabilia.
Yeah.
This was like church on Sunday. We ain't missing the damn race.
Right.
So it was instilled very early on that your driver, you celebrate those wins.
Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God. That's who you're hearing talking right there. But yeah, so this is when I started watching the Cup Series. It was like 04, 05. And like I've completely, because I used to play, did you play NASCAR? It was originally NASCAR Thunder, right? Did you play NASCAR Thunder?
I didn't have a console, so I played at my neighbor's house, but yes.
Yeah. And then after that, it became NASCAR Chase for the Cup once they moved over to the NASCAR Cup Series. So I remember playing NASCAR Chase for the Cup. And I remember the beginning of the career mode was you had to race Ryan Newman in your just like a little like Nissan or something like that. And I was like, oh, wow, you're great. Let's sign you to a contract to race. Anyway, so that's when I started watching. I completely forgot that Carl Edwards ran the 60 car, because I used to watch with my sisters, and my sisters were big Carl Edwards fans. So I don't know why. I just completely wiped that from my memory. But anyway, yeah, that was Carl Edwards from 2005. In the Freak Nation. So happy 25th anniversary, Freak Nation. Big Glenn weighing in here, as well as Blake. Blake saying, what do we think Carl will do after the 5 Prime shows? Now, this is a great question.
It is.
We were talking, I don't know if we mentioned this off air. I think this was an off air conversation, but like how great he would be in the booth and not on the desk. And I agree. I think he'd be so good. I think he did that with Fox maybe last year. I think he joined him for just a little bit, and I think I would love to have Carl in the booth full time with whoever that may be. Like have him, because Dale Jr. has left NBC, right? He's now with Prime and TNT, and like have Carl replace Dale Jr. at TNT, and so it's Carl, Jeff Burton, and Letarte calling those races. But what do you want to see? Do you want to see Carl Edwards continue? Do you want to see him back in the car, even just if it's just like a Truck Series Xfinity race, something like that, or do you want to see him still in the broadcast booth? I love having him around the sport, though. That's for sure.
It's incredible. I was going to say I love his enthusiasm. Obviously, he left the sport very abruptly, arguably during what was still his prime. And what one thing that stuck out to me looking at that interview from 2005 is he looks the exact same. So like I feel like he still could do it. Like I would love to see him make maybe a one-off starter or a few for like Joe Gibbs Racing in the Xfinity Series like Amarola does, just because I want to see what he has. And like him being away from the sport for so long and kind of blocking that part of his life out for a little bit after all the heartbreak, you could tell he's enthusiastic about it again. He wants to be around the sport, and I think he brings a much-needed enthusiasm for like new viewers, because it's almost like he's a new fan. Like he's like a little kid watching NASCAR.
Dude,
again.
that was actually so. I think it was in the pre-race when he was talking to Chase Elliott. Right, and he was like, dude, he's like, apparently they've never met each other, and he was like, oh, cool, nice to meet you for the first time. I thought that was like,
it's a cool perspective. I love seeing him on the broadcast. I would, whether it's in the booth, behind the wheel, I think the more Carl Edwards that we can get, in regards to NASCAR, is very much welcomed.
Cody Big Johnson, voice of God. Do you have any thoughts?
I'm actually on the opposite end of that. I feel like Kenny would appreciate this answer. I think Carl needs to stay exactly what he's doing. No more, no less.
Yeah.
Carl's the kind of guy that's going to get burnt out of this eventually, and I like seeing the guy around. I value his opinion. He always plays devil's advocate very well. He's always looking out for the little guy. It doesn't matter. He's just well-rounded in that sense. I need him to stay for long term. So 5 races is plenty as long as he comes back next year.
Yep.
And until long time.
That's a good idea. I'm just glad that we're seeing back around the sport, as we've already said. Blake is correct though, saying that dude is still jacked, and he is. Like you said, he looks the same. It's been 20 years, and he looks
20
just the same. Like he can still get off do the backflips.
Yeah. Oh,
ridiculous.
He definitely could.
He has not proven that he can do a backflip yet.
He should do that.
I was just going to bring it up. That's what I would like to see.
He's 45 years old.
I want to see one more backflip. Do it outside of your rental. I don't give a damn.
Come on, Carl.
Just do a backflip for me.
Did they already do the Hall of Fame induction for this year?
Yes.
Yeah, he had like a 20-minute long speech.
His speech.
Oh, wow.
Good.
I missed that.
Damn near brought some tears to my eye. It was good.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And I think we mentioned this before off the air. Like, he should run for mayor at some point because he's just that well put together and so well
Cousin Carl, baby.
You could have a future in that.
Don't want to wade into politics, obviously, too much. But there was, believe it or not, like after he retired, there was some talk of people trying to get him to run for office because he was so well liked.
Yeah.
Okay. We have about 16 minutes left in the hour. So let's do the. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do. Okay. Let's go to break.
We got to run Suarez.
Yes.
For Mexico.
So, so let's go to break. And then we can hear from Daniel Suarez when he joined Kenny and Crash from Phoenix Raceway back in March.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about his experience going to Mexico City, his home country for the first time. So that's coming up next. Cody, give me the thumbs up when you're ready to go. Daniel Suarez is joining us next. SpeedFreaks Pits and Lucas Oil Studios.
SpeedFreaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment is a multifunctional cleaner plus lubricant. For every fill-up of gas or diesel, add one 16-ounce can of Lucas Oil Complete Engine Treatment. One bottle can treat a tank of up to 21 gallons. Its special additives allows a better fuel burn to help increase your miles per gallon. Expect longer engine life, longer oil life, cleaner exhaust, and less fuel consumption. Lucas Oil, it works.
Freak Nation, get this. General Tire has launched a comprehensive Shield Plus Advantage plan for passenger and light truck tires. What that means for you is when you purchase General Tires, the Shield Plus Advantage plan lets you enjoy a complete package of multiple warranties and coverage to get the most from your tires. The plan applies to all General Tire passenger and light truck tires purchased as replacements in the U.S. and Canada with DOT serial numbers. For more information, hit them up on GeneralTire.com. General Tire, the official tire of SpeedFreaks for 2 decades.
This is Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's not like other videos. It's 1 1/4 miles long, and no 4 turns are the same. One wrong move, and it can bite you. It's not your normal racetrack. Some racers love it. Some hate it. Champions respect it. June 14th and 15th is not just Father's Day weekend. It's the Bommarito Automotive Group 500.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
What's better than 1 win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get 1 line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Freak Nation, head to your local General Tire dealership now to check out the latest additions to their product lineup. The Grabber family of tires are engineered for durability and feature innovative performance features that offer all-terrain capability, blending exceptional off-road durability and impressive on-road performance, all while sporting aggressive styling. For outstanding off-road performance coupled with strong street manners, look no further than General Tire. General Tire delivers for whatever you do, and the official tire of Speed Freaks since 2001.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
This Freakin' segment is brought to you by our friends at Lucas Oil. Now, what automobile do you have in the garage? I bet Lucas Oil could keep that thing fat and happy and on the road. From everyday car care, heavy-duty trucking to agriculture, hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, and marine, Lucas Oil has what you need to keep those engines, interiors, and exteriors looking like and running like they're supposed to be. For more information, go to the website, lucasoil.com, and find the perfect Lucas Oil product. Keep your rides on the road.
Freak Nation, the panic that sets in during a break when you're trying to figure out what the hell to talk about is awesome. And I'm glad we are taking some breaks tonight because it helps, because we get to figure out what the hell we're going to talk about in between segments. If we just stayed live, it's kind of hard to do because then we just, I just tossed both of you guys under the bus and you're like, what the hell are we going to talk about? But luckily, before the break, I teed up what we're going to do now, which is coming up on June 15th. Not only can you see IndyCar at Worldwide Technology Raceway, Cole's going to be there, we talked about earlier.
Yes, sir.
But you can also watch the first ever NASCAR Cup Series race from Mexico City, making a little bit of history. And of course, this is a very special race for Mexican-born Daniel Suarez, who is going to be making his debut in his home country of Mexico. And we caught up with Daniel Suarez, not we, but Canadian Crash caught up with Daniel Suarez, Phoenix Raceway back in March, and they asked him about his emotions, his thoughts about being able to race in his home country. Here's Daniel Suarez joining Canadian Crash back in March.
Daniel Suarez is talking about fun here in the Freak Nation, and I want to talk about some fun with you. Mexico City this year is going to be an amazing race, and you just did some promotion for them. I have to talk about these videos that we saw of you in the ring. Lucha Libre.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, for me. I take a lot of pride of everything that is related to my culture, to my country, and for the first time, I have had the opportunity to actually bring some of my amigos here from competitors to my home country to show them a little bit of what it's all about. A little bit of the food, the lucha libre, the culture, and it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm enjoying this so much. This is gonna be an amazing year. I think that it's gonna be a year that I'm gonna remember for a very, very long time, and really looking forward to continue to enjoy this moment, because I think that the Mexico race is going to be amazing, the weekend, but everything that we're going to do until that point is going to be very special for me as well.
But hold on, let's go back to the ring. You body slammed Ryan Blaney.
Well, I didn't. I tried, but then I chickened out in the process. I thought I was going to hurt myself or hurt him. I ended up hitting him anyway, but that wasn't planned. Let me tell you, I have a lot of respect for those guys. They make it look easy. Those lucha libre guys, wrestlers, they just do things that you think, man, I can do that, and then you jump in there and you look like an idiot. But it's fun. We had an amazing time.
I was today years old when I found out that you could do a handstand. Well done.
Well, I didn't know I can do it. I mean, I was just kind of like bouncing up and down, but yeah, it was good. It was fun. I think that Ryan, Chase, and Christopher, but we all enjoyed it, and we had some amazing tacos. I bet you that those were some of the best tacos these guys ever had, and that's just a little taste of Mexico.
Okay, what would you rather do, Daniel Suarez? Win the Daytona 500 or the inaugural race in Mexico City in a Cup car?
The Mexico race. The Mexico race. For me, the Mexico race is huge. Honestly, for me, the Mexico race is as big as a championship. Like it's a very big thing because I don't think anyone in the Cup Series can actually compare to this because, think about it. Not from every driver in the Cup Series today, except myself, we go either to their home state, sometimes to their home city, or somewhere very close. For me, it's not like this. I haven't raced as a pro driver. I haven't raced in my home country for over 10 years. So it's a very big deal. It's a very, very big deal for me. The Daytona 500 obviously is huge, and it would be a dream. The championship the same. But the Mexico race is something personal. It's something personal that maybe for many people it would be just another race, but for me it's huge.
I would think NASCAR would be on the phone with Checo right now saying, dude, come in and run a one-off in the Cup race or the Xfinity Series. Do you know anything more about that?
Yeah, you think that didn't happen? Of course it happened, but it's not that easy. And Checo, is a huge... Checo is an amazing racing driver, and he has done a lot of great things for Mexico and for Formula One. With that being said, his focus is not to be racing in different series right now. Right now, for Mexico, he is the driver in Mexico, right? Because he's been racing in Formula One and he's been doing all the different things. And for him to come to NASCAR, the reality is it's a big risk. It's a big risk because he has never raced these cars before. He doesn't have experience with these cars. He doesn't have experience with these drivers. We do. So the chances of him running the top 5, top 10 are very thin, and that's not good. But I just think that I would love to have him. I think that would be amazing. But it's not. It wouldn't be the best thing for him.
Daniel Suarez in the Freak Nation from back in March, and you can tell, like, in his voice and the way he's talking, like, how much this race would mean to him if he won. And I don't know. I don't want to speak for Cole Money Cusimano and Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, but him winning Mexico City would be one of the coolest sports stories, I think, all year.
Yeah, forget racing, just sports in general. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
He's got a big fan base down there. I'm really curious to hear how the fan reaction is going to be during driver introductions. Hope Kenny gets a good video of that. Maybe some good content. But no, I'm really pumped up. I can't really speak to the driving element as much as you guys probably could because you guys have raced F1 there. I know the layout's a little bit different compared to the F1 one. However, just me watching some highlights on YouTube and whatnot, it looks like a very competitive track. It looks like a very fun track, and I think that the community is really going to embrace it.
Yeah, they call it this like the stadium section, which is a really, really tight. This is the Formula E layout here. So this is even a little bit. This layout here is different than even the Formula One layout actually. So I don't know if this is where we're going to see closer to what NASCAR is going to do or not. But the stadium section, they call it, it's like one of the toughest sections in Formula One because it's so tight. And I think that's going to cause a lot of chaos. So real quick, the main difference between the Formula One track and the NASCAR track, allegedly, according to, this is from dailydownforce.com, not Daily Downforce. This is the actual daily downforce is NASCAR takes a right turn at turn 4. Formula One turns left at turn 4, meaning the NASCAR layout cuts off what is typically turns 5 and 6. So that's the layout. I think all of us are super excited for this race. I love the Gen 7 car on road courses. Kenny talks about this all the time, how much he enjoys like kind of the road course product and wishes there were more. And I was shocked to learn when I was watching the broadcast that there are 4 road courses remaining in the final races of the regular season before the playoffs. Those are game changers, man.
Yeah, they are. I mean, SVG, he's turned it on lately. He's always a contender at these tracks. I mean, I feel like Suarez has home field advantage racing here so many times, obviously. And you got some other contenders like Chris Buescher, who's been an ace on these tracks. William Byron might pick up another win. You never know if he doesn't fumble it away. But
could it be Chase Elliott's resurgence?
That's another great point as well. Yeah. Could be do or die for a few teams with the regular season coming to a close quickly.
Yep, let's real quick go to our chat one last time before we kind of hit some quick hitters before we get on out of here. Blake saying Suarez is a great guy, but again, no killer instinct. I can kind of see that.
Yeah, he was in my D tier for sure.
Big Len bet Daniel to win. That'd be again great story. Again, I don't know what his odds are. You can follow the Money Stop.
Money Stop coming this week, Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time.
Coming up on Friday.
YouTube.
And Blake says Daniel's married to a PK, which is true. Saw a lot of that in NASCAR Full Speed.
Yeah.
We got to see Daniel and Julia and how they their relationship. Okay, a couple of quick things to hit before we get out of here. I'm going to read straight from Bob Pockrass's article here in case you missed it. Earlier this week, the U.S. Court of Appeals vacated the injunction requiring NASCAR to treat 2311 and Row Motorsports as chartered organizations for the 2025 season. The teams have 14 days to ask for a rehearing by the 3-judge panel for all the appeals court judges to hear the case. The ruling goes into effect 7 days after the deadline ends or if a request for rehearing is pending. So 2311 and Front Row likely have until at least June 26th before they potentially have to field cars as open teams, which would not guarantee them spots in the field each week. Cole, your quick thoughts on this?
Yeah, honestly, I don't get too caught up in the legalities of everything because it's easy for us to say, this is bullshit. NASCAR shouldn't have a say in this. You don't know, but we don't know what they had like written down on paper and all that stuff. So I think the implications of this are huge, obviously, with having 6 open teams between Front Row and 2311. But again, like you don't know what was said, what was legally written down and signed for. So it doesn't interest me a whole lot to talk about it, but I get the ramifications and why it's a big deal. So that's kind of my, I guess, take on that.
Yeah, this is, I mean, we're going to wrap up the show here, but I think this is one of those things that just fascinates me because it's so, like, this has never happened in professional sports where you have an entity suing the governing body of the entire sport. It just doesn't happen, right? You're not oftentimes seeing an NFL player suing the National Football League or a team owner suing the National Football League, right? And Michael Jordan's involved in this too. So that's why this is like always going to fascinate me. And it could change depending on how the ruling goes coming up in December. Like it could completely change the game in NASCAR.
I do have one thing to add.
Yeah.
I will say Denny Hamlin winning this race days after that injunction, sticking it to NASCAR, made his victory that much better and this case that much more interesting.
Yeah.
It's a fun story.
Yep. One last thing to get on before we get out of here. Okay. I need to make sure I say this right because it's 2 completely different brands and essentially 2 companies now. But
Thank you.
Cody will correct you. He will correct you.
Yes. Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God, made sure to correct me earlier. It is Ram Trucks that is returning to NASCAR in 2026. And they are entering the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for the first time in well over a decade. Look at that. Look at that car. Woo. Look at that.
That's hot.
Ram Trucks logo. Look at that. They're going to be back in 2026. Do you guys care? I don't.
Absolutely. No, I do. I really do care. I think Dodge was great for the sport. I think it's great for the sport in general to have more than 3 manufacturers. And it was a cool story to have them go out and top in the Cup Series anyway, in the case of Dodge. So I'm happy to have another manufacturer in the sport.
Ram.
Sure. Yeah.
Cody Big Johnson, voice of God, would you say?
I was just making sure you knew it was Ram and not Dodge.
Did I say Dodge?
Multiple times.
Well, okay, no. Dodge was correct, though, for the Cup Series.
Dodge used to be here,
in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But now-
okay. Ram.
They're the same parent company, so it's okay. I think it's okay. People know what we're talking about. All right. Well, that's going to do it, I think. We are past 9 o'clock now, and people are still freaking watching us. How long do you think we could stay live and the people would still be watching?
Let's see. It's midnight back east. Maybe a half an hour. Yeah, I think.
See y'all in 2 weeks. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Blake said he's going to be in Las Vegas next weekend, so he's not going to be able to check out the show. Check us out on YouTube, though, Blake. Check us out afterwards, and you can still watch the show anytime on YouTube. Check us out on Racer Network every Monday, noon Eastern and Pacific. Check us out, of course, every Sunday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, on the Freaks Radio Network, and, of course, here on YouTube, Worldwide Technology YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. Wednesday, we're going to be back live with Kenny and Crash as they're back from vacation for Horsepower Hump Day as we get set for Worldwide Technology Raceway IndyCar coming up on Sunday. www.raceway.com to get your tickets, of course. So once again, for the final time, thank you to Cody Big Johnson, the voice of God behind the scenes, for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you to Cole Money Cusimano for hanging out tonight. Thank you to Kenny and Crash for letting us do this thing. Until Wednesday, good night and good racing from the Lucas Oil Studios, everybody. See you later.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
From the labs at Lucas Oil Products, Lucas Oil